At this time, I would like to ask if there's a motion to reauthorize the Downtown Improvement District for a 5-year term. That's ordinance A on the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so this ordinance has been moved by Jeff and seconded by Marcia. I'm going to open up for a final comment by all council and administration. If you would like, please remember this is a comment, a commenting period only. Councilors?
Yeah, I'll just be brief, Lucine. I think some of the speakers recognize the importance of having a DID in place moving forward. I agree with, Dr. Pepin and Sonilda that, not everything has been perfect in the past years, but I also feel that DID was given a lot of responsibilities they weren't really geared to handle at the time. And the city has struggled when it comes to economic development downtown. I think the mayor, who's leading the way with a new strategic plan, along with the managing director, will help us transform downtown. It can't just be a DID thing. DID has to be a piece of it, a big piece of it. So I don't want to take away from everyone's disconcerting thoughts about DID. I just want everyone to realize, it wasn't DID's full responsibility to lead downtown to where it needs to be. The city has to play a much stronger and centric role, and that is the game plan. Certainly, a lot of people aren't happy, and I think I agree with some of the speakers that Jim and the new board and the new intermunicipal agreement will help shore up a lot of operations and accountability. And we certainly need that to occur. I just think it's also a leap of faith. We've got a lot of people like John and Avernia and Jim and others investing downtown, and hopefully that's just the beginning of the effort. So, this is a leap of faith for many, including myself, but I understand the importance of getting it done, so I'm going to support it. And I appreciate the mayor's support as well as he continues to lead our efforts downtown. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Just a reminder, there is interference that's coming through. So
Madam Chairman, is I getting through?
Hi, Strat. Yes, go ahead.
That's his TV.
There's interference. Strat, are you trying to make a comment?
No, I'm just wondering if I'm coming through.
Yes, we can hear you.
I don't have the TV on.
You do so.
Okay. Everybody who is not actively speaking, please mute. And that way we can eliminate any possible interference. Strat, would you like to make a comment? No. Okay. Other councilors?
I think we should get on with the voting.
Thank you, Strat.
That's my comment.
Any other comments?
Comment, but there's like that feedback. I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
There, it's better.
Thank you. Oof. Okay, so I have a couple of comments. So when I came on council, I took an oath to serve my constituents and to be the voice of my constituents and to represent the desires of the majority of our constituents. I personally have spoken to close to, 150 or more constituents in my downtown district regarding the DID and its reauthorization. And I think that it is in our favor to properly represent the voice of the unheard, the voice of the oppressed, because these people, these property owners, these business owners have been weathering the economical storm that our city has been through for numerous years. I think it's unfair that we continue to neglect them and that we don't listen and then we don't meet their needs. To pay a higher property tax, and now we're putting a financial burden on them to pay this assessment tax that many have expressed they are paying for a service that they are not receiving. 125 of those people that put it in writing. And I believe there are more that wish that they could also continue to put their objection in writing, but obviously to make it to the cutoff point. I recall also the letters of support, and there were maybe like 20, and a good majority of those 20 letters of support were from tax exempt properties that reap benefits paid for a lot of our assessment payers that object the DID. I don't think
Yep.
it's fair that we continue a system and an authority that has proven year after year or 5 year after 5 year to not meet the needs of our constituents.
All right, let's vote on this thing.
Okay, thanks, Marcia. Go ahead.
Okay. This has been a very painful process for the city, and it has been all the years I've been on council. Part of it I look at because, and I have shared this with you before, and I know other folks at the table have also worked downtown. I have started my career downtown. I've worked downtown since 1975, and it's seen numerous changes. But the biggest change that I saw that I think impacts on all individuals' concerns is the change of what we've been able to see recognized as business downtown, where there used to be thriving commercial sites, where there used to be a lot of activity, a lot more employees. We now have seen that change. And yet what has happened is the DID has always been in the crosshairs of everything that has gone wrong downtown. It's easy to do that. It's easy to point fingers and blame. What needs to happen is we need to move together on a strategic plan that doesn't spend a lot of energy pointing fingers, but looks at how each of us can be part of the solution. I know that there's been some leadership on council that has done that has set the stage. For us to be able to now say, yes, we are dissatisfied. We all know that there are things that have happened with the functioning of DID, but I think it's more than being dissatisfied with DID. I think it's being dissatisfied with what's happening in downtown and trying to put that all on the shoulders of the DID. Okay. I personally have not been pleased with some of the leadership that not comes from the DID board necessarily, but some of the other people that have administrative responsibility. I have expressed that verbally to the individuals, to the members of the DID board. I've always been open and transparent. I've talked to a lot of the business owners. I know how they feel. I'm able to see what DID does on a daily basis because of either working downtown, and when I'm working remotely, I travel downtown. I'm able to see the DID ambassadors. Just something I feel I need to share is that I've seen them save lives, which maybe doesn't come on the radar screen for many people, where people that have been significantly challenged, they have been able to get EMS services, they've been able to get ambulance services, they've made sure that the community is protected. No one sees that. That's not as visible as trash in the street. They've been able to help direct homelessness situations, things that maybe some of us don't want to talk about. So there are things that have happened. Yes, it's not ideal what we're seeing downtown, but I feel that what we do, if we turn away the structure, which can indeed move Reading forward, we then step back another 5, another 10 years, which none of us can afford to do at this point. With Alvernia University moving downtown, we can't afford to do that. What we need to do, though, and we did this in the DID agreement, is we need to see performance measures, which all of us worked on, and they need to be accountable for. We need to be able to look at new leadership at the executive director level. All those things can change things around. If people don't have faith in that, to do that, then I ask them, what are you going to do instead? What are you going to ensure to ensure community safety? Okay, to ensure cleanliness? Are you going to believe that it's all going to be able to fall back on our city employees and like a magic wand occur? You know, in negotiating the budget, the challenges that we face. So if you in good faith believe that can happen and believe that you're going to be promoting the city moving forward by voting against DID, then I want to see you make that plan happen. Thank you.
Okay. One thing I would like to respond to Councilor Goodman-Hintershitz. One of the items in the municipal services agreement proposed that would be authorized to be adopted with the ordinance is the development of performance metrics and benchmarks. They would be developed mutually by the city and the DID.
Thanks, Joan. I want to be able to put this vote forward, so I will try to keep my comments brief. It's been an honor for me to serve as the liaison of council with the Downtown Improvement District Authority through this process. It has been a very challenging process and a very eye-opening process. So first, I want to thank those individuals who had been involved. I want to thank the entire staff of the 12 employees that work for the DID, including the ambassadors. I want to thank all of the board members who are volunteers. I want to thank my fellow counselors, the public for their input, because we have been inclusive throughout and dedicated many, many, many hours, which I believe was long overdue. And this was a social contract and a value propositioning that seemed to not exist, although it had been in place for over 20 years. I think that what's important is to note that financially, in my opinion and my actions are in the best interest of the city, is to lose the ability through the NID Act to utilize the special assessment ability would be a detriment to us as a city that we would not be able to recuperate. I do not believe that we have the capacity within some of our departments, in addition to the financial capacity of an underfunded DID that's currently operating just under $1 million budget. So to see them underutilized as well, and just to thank the mayor for the agreement this evening, that's a very generous move. And I think a move that shows now this new commitment between the city and the authority, but also needs to involve the property owners and the business owners. One of the outcomes through our discussions and hours of work is that a district advisory committee will be formed. And that committee will be primarily of the individuals that I know have spoken to Johanny directly as the councilwoman for the downtown as constituents. Moving forward, how do we make sure that we're not looking in the rearview mirror? How do we ensure that we move forward to a sustainable and revitalized downtown Reading, one that's building and developing community, one that's fostering economic prosperity with COVID recovery, and one that's focusing on the environmental needs of having a safe and clean downtown? We've created a plan, a preliminary plan, to hold everybody and all parties accountable. We have a strategic plan in place that a reorganized board of the Redevelopment Authority have committed to follow. We have funding in place now. We have a call for change in leadership to direct the DID as they move forward, which will occur in January. We also have a municipal services agreement, which is that agreement between the city of Reading, who, in my opinion, speaking as behalf of the city, has long neglected our responsibilities and accountabilities to work with the authority to create a thriving downtown that we all want and need to see. In using that and measuring baseline services and performance evaluations, I believe truly that we have all come together to put together an agreement to reauthorize the DID in full confidence, to give them the opportunity and us and all of us to work together in the next 5 years to see a safe, clean, and green downtown that is revitalized. And it is going to take all of us. We all have to make that commitment, not just council, not just constituents, not just property owners. But I think that working together and the partnerships that we've seen also come from this with the Berks Alliance, the Berks County Community Foundations, and people who are concerned and want to celebrate the city, who are not constituents and who do not live directly in the city, but are part of Greater Reading and would love to invest in a downtown that is beautiful and vibrant, all can make that commitment this evening. So with that, I'm going to ask Linda to call for the vote. Oh. Donna?
Yes, thank you. I just want to assure everyone that I believe everyone on this council will not be making any kind of willy-nilly kind of vote. I think we have all looked at every facet of this. We appreciate all the work that's been done. I can tell you that I looked at it from the lens of many, many years in the downtown, both as a worker downtown As someone who goes back to the days of covering Penn Square Commission, running Marketing Association, and how that evolved into the DID when I was still in the news business, and all these years later in which I participated in several reauthorization votes. When you look at it overall, there have been serious areas of concern for me. 5 years ago, we had a counselor well before that who used to talk about walking the plank of faith. 5 years ago, I voted for reauthorization, walking that plank of faith. My concerns have only grown. My worries about function and leadership has only grown. I want to make sure that I speak well of the ambassadors because my interaction with them has been nothing but good. But my concerns are deep and real. Just as I voted and I was very not thrilled about voting for a tax increase, but I did do that because I thought it was in the best interest of the city at large. Looking at this particular vote, to me, the assessments that will be encumbered, and I know they're staying the same, but adding to the tax increases that people are facing is a concern for me. Everyone's struggling downtown. Small businesses are struggling. The eateries are struggling. They need to see a return on their investment. However that works out, if the DID is not reauthorized, I would suggest that as we see a sea change of things happening downtown, there's always the opportunity. I learned that many years ago, working for the Chamber of Commerce. There's never problems, there's opportunities, there's challenges. We're seeing a new city, a new Reading. There may be a new way to do something here. So I don't want everyone to feel that should reauthorization not occur, this is the end all and be all, and we're going down a rabbit hole that is not going to be helpful to the city. I'm encouraged believing the city will move forward, and sometimes there are different ways in which a city moves forward. We all want clean, we all want it to be greener than what it is. And I would simply say to all those property owners on either side of this issue, pro or con, whatever occurs, look at yourself, look at your property, look at how you are going individually to take that responsibility to move the city forward, and perhaps in a different unified way, move it forward collectively. That's it.
Thank you, Donna. So Linda, at this time, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Cepeda Freitas? Ms. Cepeda Freitas? We can't hear you. Can you see it?
Jahani.
Oh, Lord.
There you are.
Go. There we go. You're in.
Ms. Cepeda Freitas?
No. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, so my vote is no.
Correct. Ms. Goodman Hintershitz?
Yes.
Mr. Marmaru?
No.
Ms. Reed?
Regretfully, no.
Ms. Sahelnick?
Yes.
Ms. Ventura?
No.
Mr. Waltman, President?
Yes.
3 yeas, 4 nays.
Okay, very good.